Good morning, students. My name is Suvas Vora, Assistant Professor of Electrical Department at Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology. Now, I start with the new subject. The name is Disaster Management. So, disaster management is basically the two words disasters and management. So, now start with this chapter number 1, the understanding of disasters. So, start the new chapters with the first lecture of introductions of disasters and disaster management cycles. So now, what is the disaster? Basically, the disaster is defined as crisis situations cause widespread damage with the far exceed our ability to recover. It means that we can say that they cannot be perfect idea system that prevent to damage, because then it would not be disasters. It has to suffocate our ability to recover. Only then it will can be disasters. In simple word, we can say that disaster is basically the situations arise to destroy, and the very critical situations arise in the all over world is called the disasters. It means that we know that nowadays the corona is one type of the disaster situations arise to all over world. This one is the best example for the disasters. So, uh, disasters is basically unpredictable intervals. It means that the people around the world are affected by the natural hazards. The hazards is one type of the disasters word. It means the almost similar word, but not hazards is called the disasters. They may be caused by climate, geology, environment, and combination of this. It means the if I consider that the climate, so drugs, food, and cyclone. We know that the cyclone nowadays, the some countries have the problem with the cyclones. In Gujarat is also the one cyclones disasters is hazard. Then food, it means that we know that some years ago we know that the one disease, it means the कमिंग फ्रॉम द चिकन्स, वी नो दैट दी हम जानते हैं कि कुछ टाइम पहले चिकन फॉक्स और द अदर्स डेंगू, yes, the dengue is one type of the disaster coming from the chickens. It means the one type of foods, the non-veg. This one is the climate examples. Now the coming from the geological, we know that the volcano, tidal waves, then after earthquake is the example of the geothermal disasters. Now the consider for the environment, it means the pollutions, deforestations, and etc will be the example of the environment. And sometime is the both the, it means that the geological disasters and the environmental disaster coming from both the sides, it will cause the combinations of this. Now recently we can say that now to see the world and Indian scenario for the disasters. So in the 2008, one disaster is coming from the consider for the 2008. It means that 2008 have the earthquake and the cyclone around in the USA and the other country, which natural disasters, the 2,36,000 will be people will be died, and 2,11,000, sorry, The 2 crore 11 lakhs people will affect these problems. In similar way, the 2002 to 2007, there are 397 natural disaster will be arised, and the 66,000 people will be dead, and the approximately 2 crore people will be affected this. Now consider with the Asia, the 2008 141 events including and the cyclones. We know that the Burma, the Nargis cyclones will be arise in the Burma, and the 1,40,000 people will be died in these cyclones. And at that time the earthquake is also arise in the China, and 87,000 people will be affected there. Now we can discuss about the in India the number of natural disasters and the climate disaster will be arise. For example, the earthquake, cyclone, food disasters, then drug disaster, etc. are be arise in India. Is lot of the disaster will be arise now. So when we start with this disaster, one, we know that the types of disasters, basically we know that there are the two types of disasters. The first one is the natural disasters, and another one is the man-made disasters. It means the human disasters. In the natural disasters, we can say that the earthquake, flood, landsliding in the ice hills, and etc. Then after the main or the human disasters, war, bomb blast, then chemical leakages, and etc. So these phases of all disasters is natural and as well as the human. Almost the same effect of the human life. It means that the disaster often different in quantity of the damages, causes, or in a quantity of the type of medical consequence. It means that they will affect our the human life. This is called the disasters. Now if I consider the concern area, yes, the concern area means what? Now start with the concern area. Now we can discuss. The first is disasters management. Sorry. So the following effect in the concern area, it completely disturb the normal day to life. The next one is negatively influence the emergency system. It means the unwanted requirement of the emergencies and normal need and process like the food, health, and etc. are the affect and the distorts the depending on the intensity and the severity of the disaster. It means we can say the simply the terms we can define the disasters as a hazard causing the heavy loss of to life, property, and livelihood. This is the basic idea of the disasters. Now, the word disaster management. So, what is the meaning of disaster management? The disaster management can say that the action taken by the organizations in response to unexpected events that are adversely affect the people and the treatmenting the continued operations of the organizations. It means that we can say that the disaster management is the discipline of deadline with and avoiding the risk. It involves the preparing for the disasters before it happens, disaster response, as well as supporting and after the natural or human made disaster have occurred. So disaster management means when the disaster is arise, and then after we can arrange the all things. It means the development of the disaster recovery plans for minimizing the risk of the disasters and for handling them when they do occurs, and the implement of such a plans. So मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट को अगर हम समझना चाहते हैं तो डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट, जब डिज़ास्टर्स आता है उसके बाद हमको एक उसको रिड्यूस करने के लिए, उसके सामने खड़े रहने के लिए हम पूरा प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट करते हैं. द बेस्ट एग्जांपल नाउ डे इज़ कोरोना. जब कोरोना अराइज हुआ, मैं सिर्फ बात करता हूँ इंडिया में, तब फर्स्ट स्टेप हमने वो किया कि जिन लोगों को कोरोना आ रहा है उसका एक प्रॉपर लिस्ट बनाते हैं, किनको आया है, कौन से एरिया में आया है, उसके बाद उनके पास वो किन किन लोगों को मिले हैं, जो पूरा मैनेजमेंट, दिस टाइप इज़ कॉल्ड द मैनेजमेंट. दिस वन इज़ कॉल्ड द डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट. So disaster management is the discipline of the dealing with and avoiding the risk. This one is called the disaster management. Now disaster cycles. Now we can discuss about the disaster cycles. So what is the disaster cycles? Yes. So disaster management cycles includes some stages. First phase is disaster phase. It means when the disaster is occurred. Then after the response of phases. Then after response of phases means the first one, after the disaster, then after the response phase, then after the recovery phase, risk phase, and last one is the preparedness phase. The first one is disaster phase. It means that we can say that disasters phase during which the event of the disaster take place. This phase is characterized by the profound damage to the human society. They also damage and the loss many human lives, loss of property, loss of environment, loss of health, and etc. This phase, the population is taken by profound shock. It means this one is the disasters. Then after, so in this phase, we can preparedness for the activities priority of the disaster. For example, the preparedness, the plan, emergency, and etc. Then after the response, so in this response period that immediately follow the occurrence of the disasters. It means that in this phase, the activities during the disasters, the public warning systems, emergency operations, search and rescue. Then after the recovery phase, so what is the recovery phase? The immediately need of the populations are met when all the medical help has arrived and the people have settled from the hust. So we can say that in the recovery system, the activity follow of the disasters and the temporarily housing, clamping, then processing and the graduate for the long term medical care and counseling. Then after the risk, or we can say that the mitigations phase. So risk phase, we can say that the population has returned to pre-disasters stands of the living, but they recognize the need of certain measure which may be need to be reduce the extent or impact of the damage during the next similar disasters. For example, after the earthquake which causes a lot of damage to improperty building house, the population being to rebuild stronger house and the building. It means that after this we can arrange the proper mitigations or reduce the process to marking the impact less severe is called the mitigation. And the last one is preparedness phase. This phase involves the development of the awareness among the populations on the general aspect of disasters. Now, this disaster management cycle we can easily understand of the real example. The real example is disaster means the if I consider for an example we can consider the corona is the disasters. The first step after we can face of the disasters we can take a understand or the characterized by the perform of the damage to the human society. Then after response phase, so after the डिजास्टर फेज वी कैन चूज द पीपल. हमने क्या किया जब कोरोना आया उसके बाद हमने रिस्पॉन्स फेज में जिन जिन लोगों को पॉजिटिव आ रहा था उनको रेगुलर और जो कॉमन पीपल थे उनसे अलग किए जिन और उनकी पूरी तरह से मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट कर दी. जैसे कि इंस्टेंटली हमने उन लोगों को ट्रीटमेंट देना स्टार्ट किया जो बेसिक ट्रीटमेंट थी. देन आफ्टर द रिकवरी फेज़ में हमने क्या किया कि उन लोगों को जिन जिन लोगों को मिले थे उनके टेस्ट किए एंड उनको भी ट्रीटमेंट देना स्टार्ट कर दिया. देन आफ्टर लॉकडाउन किया. उसके बाद हमने एक ऐसा रिस्क और मिटिगेशन फेज स्टार्ट किया कि जैसे कि हमको पता है कि मास्क लगाने से डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करने से ये प्रॉब्लम जो रिस्क था वो लेके हम एक डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करके हमने लॉकडाउन ओपन किया. और लॉकडाउन ओपन करने के बाद हमने प्रिपरेशन फेज़ में आए. प्रिपरेशन फेज़ कि हम बाहर जा सकते हैं बट मास्क पहनना ज़रूरी है, डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करना ज़रूरी है, हाथ वॉश करना ज़रूरी है. सो दिस वन इज़ द डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट साइकल्स. सो आई थिंक today's we can learn about the disasters, what is the disasters, then after the disaster management and disaster management cycle. इस पूरे टॉपिक और इस पूरे सब्जेक्ट को हम अगर रियल फेज में कंसिडर करेंगे तो ये सब्जेक्ट दूसरे सब्जेक्ट से बहुत इजी है, सिंपल है. सो इफ़ एनी doubt regarding this topic you can call me, and if any questions arise this topic you can also mail me. My mail id and the phone number is display your screen.